Welcome home, right here back on Money Talk 1010. Woo-hoo. I'm Katrina Maidwell, I'm your host for Tampa Home Talk, and I'm joined by my favorite sidekicks every week, even Adam Talley for the second hour.
The whole second hour. How about that?
And then also Aaron Donovan with Danahy and Murray sticking around for hour number 2, as is Mr. David Green. He's been a little quiet over there with Woods Trail Law. We're going to talk with him a little bit about some of his people. He was here before, but if you guys remember, he does a lot of like construction, go after the builders, like you didn't do this right kind of
I
thing.
have a lot of questions on that.
That's right, yeah. So
whenever we're ready.
Go ahead.
So I obviously we do insurance, and I'm sure you tie into this as well. But like we get some people in their house, they have a leak, and the house is 2 years old, right? And the insurance carrier shouldn't. What could have caused a leak after 2 years, right? So how?
I don't think anything should be wrong with your home after 2 years old if you just built it. I'm just saying.
I agree.
You'd be surprised. Yeah. So we have clients everywhere from who are kind of in pre-construction. Hey, we're working with big name home builder, whatever. And we're 2 years into this project, and we had a contract saying it's going to be done, and we have to sell a house and move from out of state, and what's going on? It's delayed. It was red tagged on inspection. So you have problems like that, and where you kind of come in and say, well, if you read your contract, it says that they're going to try to get it to you within 2 years. They're not promising it's going to be within 2 years. And so we work with people at that stage. We work with people kind of not so much in that first year coverage period, because there's usually good warranty coverage from the builder. During that first year, they're going to come in and fix a lot of stuff for you. But at that kind of 1 year and a day, they kind of just say, go on and be well and enjoy your new house. We're moving on. Mm-hmm. So when we come in, we got water leaks, we got issues, we got pipes bursting inside, we got roof leaks. A lot of times the homeowner's insurance coverage is not going to cover that, because they're going to say, hey, this was due to
shouldn't be there, right?
Construction, yeah. And so since that happened before your insurance policy was in effect, we're not going to cover it. And so what recourse do you have? You can kind of go after the builders. You can go after the trades. And really that's kind of what we do. Hey, if you bought a house and it wasn't what they promised you the sun and the moon, everything's going to be great. We're going to take care of you. You're going to love your new house. And then 2 years in, your HVAC is broken. Your shower's not working. You got bad plumbing, bad grading. Your foundation's cracking. What can you do? A lot of times my clients come to me saying, hey, we've been doing this for years, working with the builder. We can't get anywhere. We've got nowhere else to go. Please help us. And so that's where we can kind of come in. We hire people who are certified engineers, professional engineers, to figure out what's causing these problems. We figure out who was responsible, and then we go after them. And we say, hey, whatever problem happened, it wasn't the homeowner. It was your construction crew, your builder, construction manager.
Do you remember that one I had one time, Leo? I don't know if you guys were involved in it, but it was a new home construction, and it was something about the roof they put on was not the right roof for the HOA. Do you remember that? We talked about it.
Like they
vaguely.
didn't put on it, like they were supposed to be tile and they put on
not that extreme,
like that.
But it was, I can't remember. It was something wrong with the way they put it on, or it didn't match what was in the contract. It was something pretty extreme.
I mean, I see it all the time where they're supposed to be architectural shingles and they put 3-tab shingles on.
Maybe that was it.
Yeah.
I didn't think that was it, but that could have been it.
Do 3-tab anymore.
No,
yeah, I've seen it in
They're
some
called
new
the Home
homes.
Depot special for a reason.
I've seen that in some new homes, and I'm like, I can't even believe these builders are still putting this on. I can't even believe it's still allowed in Florida.
Those I could see a reason doing ACV after 10 years. Those they got a lot of problems with those.
Well, so let's go into that a little bit, because I don't know the insides and outs of the problems with the 3-tab shingles. Maybe I should.
So the shingles, when you're looking at them, the ones that just sit side by side, those are considered the 3-tab shingles.
Because each shingle is 3 tabs. So if you looked at your roof and you just see a bunch of what I call barbecue bricks next to each other.
Yeah.
It looks like a stack of Legos.
Yeah. Every 3 of those is one shingle. Now with architectural, you have multiple flappies.
They overlap over each other.
Flappy doodles.
And that way, if you lose a flappy in a storm event, you still have more flappies underneath.
It's not just solid little flat, barely shingle roof. It's got a whole bunch of.
You bought your house new, right?
I did.
It probably has architectural.
It does
shingles.
have, yeah.
Literally like the cheap of the cheaps. Only I don't see hardly any builders. I mean, there's still some that put on those 3-tab shingles, but.
Just trying to save money.
Yeah.
And we have cases where people have moved into their house and all of a sudden they had problems with their roof. They go up there and realize, hey, they forgot to remove the adhesive strip on the back of the tile. Yeah. And so we've got video of, roofers up there pulling shingles off, and you throw them down and it's just, there's the adhesive strip, with the plastic still on it, like it came from the factory that nobody removed.
Oh my gosh.
I never see those.
Yeah.
Because they don't need an expert on that one. It's pretty obvious.
There's so many in David's world that I just don't see because the defects are so obvious. They don't need an engineer.
You would think.
Just pay this.
Just come on, guy. Fix it.
Do you really want to have an engineer come pick apart how smart your contractors are?
I like the shingles that have the nailing strip. It's like the roofing company's manufacturer, they're like, we're going to put this strip on so the nails go here because this is where we want the nails for greatest wind uplift resistance. And then I'm lifting shingles and the nails are all over the place. It's like, place nail here. And it's like, nope. I don't
even tried to make
I don't want to touch these words.
Wow.
These words look pretty.
I mean, if they can't read it, I don't know. But
yeah.
So, Aaron, you guys are doing a ton of like roof stuff, right? I know you are with storms. What's the main thing that you're seeing, David? Like, what are some of the main
Terrible stucco applications.
Stucco, yeah.
Terrible stucco everywhere. So stucco over wood frame. It doesn't like being attached to the wood. The stucco wants to pull away from the wood. Tons of houses in Florida were built with concrete block on your first level.
Don't they have to put that metal stuff on the wood so it sticks? Or they used to do that?
Yeah, so you got to put that stuff there and jam the stucco into it and staple it and hope that it's going to hold against that. But once you start getting water behind that system and it starts rusting out and the wood starts deteriorating, it's just going to flop off. And those are big repair dollars. And a lot of that is traced back to initial construction. Hey, these guys got paid pennies on the dollar to put the stucco up real fast. They didn't do it the way they should have. The builder knew about it. They had a construction schedule to keep, and so we got to keep this thing moving. And nothing really materializes until several years down the road, where it's like, why is my stucco?
How far out can you file a construction default claim on something like stucco? 10 years?
10 years. Statute of repose is 10 years. So you have 4 years from the time that you should have known that it was a problem. So if I get an engineering report saying you got bad stucco, I got 4 years to bring it. That's our statute of limitations.
Seems like a fair amount of time.
Used to be 15 years on our statute of repose for bringing these claims, but because of our wonderful lobby up in Tallahassee, they shortened that period down to 10 years.
But if you know about it, why wouldn't you just file the claim? Why would it take 15 years? I guess that's my question. Why would you just let it lay there and not...
Maybe they're thinking my house is new, I don't have anything going on. They're probably not looking for stuff.
Well, he said 15 years from when you know about it.
No, 15 years, absolutely.
From when it's built, right?
Yeah. From when the house is
built.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's...
I thought it was like 4 years from when you find out about the issue you have to file it.
4 years once you know about what the...
Okay, that's my question. Once you know about it, why would you wait? Why would you even wait 4 years?
Because the builders have a habit of they know these timelines and they'll just string you along until it's too late.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they'll say, I'll fix it. Don't sue me. I'll fix it.
Yeah, don't worry about the warranty. We got people who are going to take care of this. It's just a little paint and caulk. We'll take care of it.
Yeah.
And then they'll just kind of wait out that time period.
Okay.
And then
I see.
Filed. Yeah,
I got you.
Now,
so they won't slow play you for 15 years, I guess, is the point on that.
Do the bills that Aaron mentioned earlier, which was House Bill 305 and Senate Bill 76, is there anything in here that affects you and your clients in your line of work?
Well, sure. I mean, I kind of come in after Aaron. So if Aaron's not able to fight your insurance company or get you a good result, I mean, really, what's a homeowner to do other than come out of their own pocket and maybe kind of go after the roofer? Hey, you didn't do the roof properly, and that's why, it has a decreased lifespan.
And that's actually a great point. That's where we're heading for on these shingle roofs, because if it's under 10 years and they're going to want to pay out more, because that's what the statute says, they're just going to say, no, it was installed wrong. So you're going to end up with an even bigger fight, because now you're bringing all the roofers.
Suing the contractors, yeah.
Yeah, you're bringing all the roofers in, because the insurance company is going to say, no, it was installation. They're not going to say it was the wind event.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and that just brings me up to one other point about the whole 10-year issue. You may have seen Shannon Bankman's report on the news I think it was about a week or so ago, but a kind of double whammy that the insurance companies are hitting people with right now are non-renewing people if their roof is 10 years old or older. And I just dealt with this. One of my friends from my church actually called and asked me to recommend a roofer. Actually recommended West because she was hit with one of those letters. So people can't afford that right now during the pandemic. So it's a real issue.
We can still find her. We can find her insurance.
Yeah. Well, good. I may call you.
I was thinking, David, I need to look at this house that I'm taking a list, to see how old it is, because the whole fiberglass deck in the upper is like rotted. I need to see the age of that thing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Might be a claim there.
I think a lot of these things happen and...
Text sue us to 813-377-2777.
No, we don't have those kind of attorneys on. We have attorneys that represent real people that are having real problems. They're not the ambulance chaser, let's go get $1. We're not that show.
Nope.
All right, this is Tampa Home Talk. Our off-air number is 813-377-2775. If you want to get a value for your home, including any defects, we can help you with that. 813-377-2775. We'll be back in just a moment. Stick around.
Welcome home. This is Tampa
Yes,
Home Talk.
you did it.
We
You got
are just
Welcome home.
we are talking about hopefully nobody listening has to deal with anything like this.
You have to
right?
remember what we're talking about
Nightmare
off-air
scenario.
versus on-air.
Well, it's
Yeah,
kind of
I
like when
mean-
we have the divorce attorney on. It's like we don't want anyone to need the information we're talking about, but we
But
know
if you
there's
need
people-
it, we know the people to help
If
you.
you need it, you need the information immediately. And that's
Yes,
why
the
we
original goal is to sell you the insurance and they pay for stuff if something happens.
So we were talking about the warranties, which is kind of really a joke because these are outsourced, right?
Yeah, like the
Right.
210, is that the popular
so your
one?
standard 210, it's administered by a third party. Your builder's out of it after a couple of years, and maybe you've got a claim in there, but if you don't, you got to be forced into arbitration. You got to pay your own way to get in there, and the results are homeowners are not really allowed to talk about because it's usually confidential. But yeah, you've got 1 good year of warranty coverage from your builder. Anything after that, if it's on your homeowner's insurance policy coverage, it's coming out of your pocket, unless you have an attorney who's able to represent you and get those funds for you.
So let's talk about, and you guys can both probably chime in on this, but when does someone know it's a good time to actually seek legal counsel, right? Because I like to think that people try to take the path of least resistance and just work with, their builder or their insurance company to do the right thing and pay the claim or fix whatever's wrong the way it's supposed to be fixed. At what point is it not extreme to seek the advice of counsel or at least talk to an attorney?
I talk to clients all the time who are kind of in that pre-construction phase. Hey, we've got some problems coming up. I'll give them advice. Say, hey, here's a couple things you should be thinking about or raise up with your builder. If I can offer that to somebody and helps them out, fine, I'll do that all day. Plenty of people I talk to too saying, hey, I know you don't really want to go the litigation route. People hear the word, suit, lawsuit, and they kind of get frozen up and say, I don't want to do that. That's not me. I don't sue people. I'm above
Right.
that. But unfortunately, you don't get a lot of response, as you probably know from those companies, unless you have that threat. You've got to hold that gun of litigation to their head, saying, if you don't do the right thing, you're going to be on the line.
Yeah.
And so, I'm happy to talk to people about that. I'm happy to try and help them, give them some options, saying, hey, if it's a problem that maybe doesn't rise to my level, here's a county inspector you can talk to. Here's a licensing board if you think a contractor wronged you. Here's a construction recovery fund if you had unlicensed contractor come and do your work. There are some ways I can kind of steer people towards just, on a consumer education side, you've got options. You don't have to
Right.
be there alone. And so there are some government entities, some county entities that kind of work for homeowners. But, unless you talk to an attorney or know somebody who you can talk to, people just don't know those options are out there.
Probably, I guess if you're getting the yin yang ping pong, like not really getting anywhere, that's probably a good time to talk to an attorney.
Right.
Like
That's a
when it
good
just
rule
keeps
of
going in
thumb.
circles, like and nothing's really
Right.
happening. Michael had a question. He's one of our listeners. He wants to know: does that mean you should hire someone to check the roof after 7 to 10 years? I think that's what we were talking on a moment ago.
Yeah, if you're coming up to 10 years on your house being built before you kind of occupied it, if you're in year 9, I would definitely look to see if you can afford to get an engineering report out there or a home inspection report.
What about a roofer? Should he go have a look at year 9, or do you think somebody like Leo's better?
Leo's probably less expensive.
Well, no, I mean, I would say to have a roofer out to just look at your roof is probably, it's less expensive to use the roofer than us.
Agreed,
but
yeah.
The roofer's not going to check everything. They're not going to go in the attic. They're not going to check both sides of the roof system. They're just going to go up on the roof. But yeah, I mean, getting a roofer out there to inspect your roof after a storm event or periodically is just maintenance. So I would highly recommend that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then also you have documentation. You know that the roof was okay at this certain point in time and not at some other point. So you can kind of cut down on whatever the arguments are of saying, hey, lack of homeowner maintenance, you've never been up there, you haven't looked at your roof, we don't know when this could have happened. So as long as you've got some kind of data there to keep up with your house, it's a small investment.
Aaron mentioned that earlier. You said something about someone had documented that they had maintained their roof. What was that like? What was that documentation like?
Yeah. So, and with that inspection report that you may want to get at the 7 to 10 year mark or 9 year mark, I guess, if this legislation passes, can help you maybe get underwritten by somebody like Adam's company too, because if you're able to show that the roof is in good condition still at the 10-year mark, then that may open you up to being able to be covered by more carriers. But yeah, to your point, Katrina, my client, the one that I talked about earlier that had the Hurricane Eta claim, it's now going to be much easier to prove that it was Eta because he had that great maintenance timeline leading up to Eta to show that the roof was in good condition and there were no leaks, and that where there were a few issues with tiles, he had those tiles replaced and maintained.
So the maintenance, it would be what, like an inspection once a year, making sure the gutters are clear? What else?
Yes. So for this particular insured, he had pictures taken. He had an actual inspection report done because he was worried about after Irma. Because he's down in the Naples area. So they were hit by pretty hard winds. I want to say 100 plus winds down there in Naples by Irma. So he had it particularly looked at and even did some routine maintenance on it based on what the inspector told him to do.
Which was what? Do you know what that routine maintenance called for?
Yeah, just a couple of ripped or cracked tiles needed to be replaced. I don't think they were in crucial areas like in the hips and valleys, but they were, I think, around the edge. But that's just helping me now with the insurance claim on the ETA because we have that proof.
Yeah, that would definitely help you guys. I can see that. For sure. All right, so one thing I want to cover really quick, and then we'll jump to Adam on the insurance update for the week. I know you said reach out to your senator, right, for House Bill 305 and then Senate Bill 76. So
yes,
let's talk about more specifically how and where and who are the local people that people should be reaching out to.
Yes, so there are a couple of organizations you can go to. Right now, there's, if you Google American Adjusters Association, that is a pro-consumers advocate website. And what they're doing is they're actually creating a link so that at a couple clicks of a button, you can write your senator or your House member without having to, you could probably do it from your iPhone. So I would encourage you to go to that website.
Or your Samsung, if you're not an iPhone.
Right,
person,
or your Droid or whatever you have. So for all you non-iPhone folks out there. But anyway, that should be up and running soon. And I can even give you updates on when that's up and running. Or just look it up. It's very easy to go to, just type in where you live, look Florida legislature, and then find out who. You just type in like your, I think, address and zip code.
We'll find some
and it
quick
shows
links for you guys and put them on Tampa Home Talk.
Sure.
All right, so let me be, play devil's advocate to the flip side to this. What is the flip side to this bill? I know you're saying no, right, on House Bill 305 and 76 because there won't be any coverage left for the consumer. What's the flip side to that we're not talking about? If someone wants to talk about it from like an attorney because you're an attorney that represents homeowners that fight these claims, what's the flip side to that from the insurance or whoever is pushing these bills?
Right. So, rate increases, the Florida legislators are always worried about Florida insurance increasing, the
so
cost.
That's their take on it. They want to try to
mitigate against costs.
Their theory is that by reducing litigation and third-party activity, rates will go down. History has not shown that necessarily, and we also have to look at, like Dave was saying at the beginning of last hour, increased weather activity. The fact we had four named storms hit Florida within the last 4 years, if not more now with ETA. So, these things are going to cause rates to increase regardless. Now, litigation may play into it a certain extent. I can't sit here and say that it doesn't. Mm-hmm. However, again, I'll point out that a lot of the litigation that's involved in these claims are because the insurance carriers are doing bad acts at the beginning of these claims. So
I think that should be the focus, not this. The focus should be making the insurance carriers do the right thing when they know. I mean, we were talking about that on the break. There's a select handful of insurance carriers that are constantly, you guys are having to sue because they're not paying claims they should be paying.
And how many homeowners have gotten a denial and just left it there? And so the insurance company didn't have to do anything else other than keep their money, saying, nope, we're not covering you, even if it was a wrongful denial.
I think it's a very high percentage, I would say.
I had one of those yesterday. Unfortunately, a lady's was hit by Irma. Her home was flooded. Her roof was damaged. Her insurance company came in with a huge denial. She didn't know what to do, and she sat on it. We had a storm last year. Eta comes through, reopens some old wounds. Can't help her. because it's all from Irma.
Oh wow.
Well, and especially if you're like somebody like my grandmother's personality. Well, the insurance company said no,
Right.
so
Right.
I guess that's it.
Yes,
And they don't even know.
You're like, no,
that you can
Grandma, I
dispute-
see them. I make them do the right thing.
Like, so you don't know who, it's just some people just trust their insurance companies, especially when it's your first
Well,
party
especially
insurance
the older
company.
people, they think that's what insurance is for because
Right.
it was a lot easier and simpler than it is
Yeah,
now.
you're in good
Right.
hands, like a good neighbor.
Right.
They're always there
Yeah.
for
We're
you.
on your
right.
side.
Always there to steal your lawnmower and not give it back.
So let's project forward. Let's say it gets denied, the ACV thing, and maybe we can talk about it when we come back because I hear the outro.
But no,
music,
we're gonna
but-
wrap up with your insurance update for the week. 'Cause we're gonna talk about baby proofing after the break.
Okay,
I
well,
do
I guess.
wanna hear about
Well,
that.
my question though: do you think they would end up doing it like they do water damage, where instead of ACV, maybe it'll just be limited to $10,000 or something like that?
I don't know what they're up to. I really don't know.
I don't
what,
know either. So
what the alternative?
It's a good question.
I told one person from the Florida legislator, I was like, well, if you want my take, throw the bill in the trash. So that's how I
There you
feel
go.
about it. But anyway, I don't know what the alternative would be. I'm sure they'll explore different things. If it doesn't pass, they're always up to something.
Yeah.
So we'll put bullet point tips on Tampa Home Talk on why we think this bill, probably shouldn't say what I want to say, is not good. And then we'll do our best to get you some links to get to the right people so that you can talk to them to tell their legislators no, because we want to make sure you guys have coverage on your house. We'll be back. This is Tampa Home Talk. Stick around.
Welcome home. Leo Kane here with Beryl Engineering and Inspection. We're back with a motley crew of sorts.
And this is Tampa Home Talk, and we are going to go into baby proofing. We've been talking about insurance for the last hour and a half.
Which is so much fun. Everybody loves
I
insurance.
tell you, I was looking, I don't watch the news that much, but I caught it really quickly. They were saying that the carriers in Texas are going to have more claims from these frozen pipe water bust things than they had all of last year.
Oh,
They're going to
yeah.
have more claims right now than they had
Oh,
all
it's
year.
bad.
It's a
I mean,
mess.
my
It's terrible,
sister
real
had
bad.
to cancel her vacation. I was supposed to meet up with her in March in Key West, and she had to cancel her trip because she's without power now. She's like, yeah, it's snowing here, so I have to cancel the trip in March. I'm like,
That would be-
at first, I'm at record highs here, so I'm like, why is she canceling a trip 3 weeks out? And then I saw on the news, it's like, the natural gas pipes are frozen,
Yeah.
billions without power.
People don't have
They
water.
don't even know what to
water-
do. They've
yeah.
never seen that.
If
Yeah.
I was a plumber, I would be buying an RV and going to Texas right now. and
Yeah,
Right.
make
They were
some
saying they
make
do
some
not
cash
have
monies.
enough plumbers. They do not.
That's right.
Who would?
Yeah,
it's
who
like
would?
if a Cat 5 hit Tampa, we wouldn't have enough roofers. I mean,
Right.
We
it'd
see
be-
people
mobilizing.
filter in though, like clean up people. And
Yeah,
then
they'll come
we
in.
just-
Well, there's big
yeah.
money in that, too,
mobilize.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah, the company that I used to work for that we did the hurricane debris monitoring and debris cleanup during the off season, which is off season from hurricanes. They would be doing ice storms. So yeah,
Float around.
it's the same group of people that do both. They chase hurricanes, then they chase ice storms.
All right, Pat
Well, my
George, what do you got?
My daughter lives in Dallas, Texas, and she's been in a hotel all week.
Oh, man.
And they had to leave because, the pipes were freezing, and she hired a plumber. When she arrives tomorrow from the hotel, the plumber will be on property when she first tries to turn on her water. If at all, it'll go on.
She's lucky she got a plumber to come.
Yeah, fingers
Yeah.
That's
crossed.
crazy.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Yeah. I used
She
to
must have been on it.
I lived
Yeah.
in Dallas for 6 years. I think the worst we got was like some freezing rain and some
That's-
ice a little bit.
Yeah,
It'd be like it's snowing here. You wouldn't
We
know.
ended
Yeah,
up with
with-
like an eighth of an inch sleet in the morning, and the whole town shuts down.
Yeah, everybody's driving with hazards on. Nobody knows what to do.
So, Leo, you have a baby proofing company,
Oh,
is
yeah,
that
a
right?
division, a division.
A division. So what, I didn't even know Beryl had a baby proofing thing. Like,
Yeah, so
how did you even start this? Is there
Beryl
something I
has-
should know?
Beryl branched off into baby proofing late last year. And we discovered that we needed its own website. We need to have its own outreach. It's even got its own logo that's different than the rest of the company. And it can be found at berylbabyproofing.com.
And why? You don't have kids, you have chickens. So tell me why.
Well, basically, we were doing a lot of inspections for aging in place, and we were doing a lot of inspections for people who had infants, and they wanted to know how to make their home safer, which is a valid point. I mean, you have an infant, it's exploring, it's roaming around for the first time, everything's new, and your home is becoming more and more dangerous. You have sharp granite countertops. You have electrical outlets, 7 or 8 per room when there used to be 2. You have stairs that they don't put carpet on stairs anymore. So they're sharp wood planks at all these stairs. And there's just so many dangers in your house. Babies are strangling themselves with this cord right here, blinds. Mm-hmm. I mean, your home's a death trap.
That is an adorable logo, by the way. I'm really proud of you.
So child accidents in the home actually result in more than 4.5 million emergency room visits every year, which is really surprising. And they're saying the major causes of child injury and death are drowning, burns, poisoning, suffocation.
It depends on the age of the infant. I mean, you start off suffocation is how most injury-related deaths happen among infants of less than 1 year. Putting them in a crib that's not properly put together, buying a bargain crib off eBay. And not putting it together properly, you suffocate a child. Then we move into falls. That's the next thing that's going to hurt your child. Once it starts becoming mobile, falls. And then once it starts becoming mobile and realizes how to use its hands, poison. I mean, you have these household plants that that are poisonous. I mean, we know that oleander is poisonous and we shouldn't be around dogs, but then we have a whole bunch of indoor house plants that are poisonous to children. I mean, the number one thing I always tell parents during one of our consultations is, you have to know the number for poison control. Mm-hmm. Have that number memorized and be able to call that number.
Or a bright sticker on your fridge or something.
Put a sticker on the fridge. It's in our report. Unfortunately, I don't remember it right now because it's one of those things you use so much you forget.
So what does it involve, your Beryl baby proofing? Is it an inspection for baby proofing to tell the parents what to do? Or are you guys actually doing it or what?
We go in there and we do a consultation. So we do a room-by-room consultation. So we do a room-by-room inspection of the dangers that could be associated with a baby in its infancy, toddler, child, infant stages.
I can see Leo in there. By the way, you got a roof defect. I know I'm here for baby proofing.
No, well, I mean, part of what we do is indoor air quality. So we're going to make sure you're changing your air filters. I mean, the other thing, they're building homes tighter now. So your babies are more susceptible to asthma and these other respiratory illnesses if you're not changing your air filters. So, yeah, it is more than just, can the baby walk into this room and strangle itself? Is the air the baby breathing correct?
God, so what are the things you're seeing?
I don't know if I want to know what's in my house right now that I'm walking around in.
It's scary.
What's some of this stuff in your report? I mean, I'm sure the blinds, and they're going to where they don't even have them anymore.
Our services here are twofold. One is we give you a detailed report on how your home is a death trap. And two, we actually can implement those solutions because a lot of people, the first thing we're like, well, your electrical outlet. And the first thing everyone thinks of when they think of the electrical outlet is we're just going to put these little plastic plugs.
Things, yeah.
Those are choking hazards.
Oh, geez.
The baby's going to rip it off the wall and choke to death on it. So, no, we actually go in there and change the outlet covers. Depending on if it's permanently plugged in, we have a cover that goes over it that allows the cords out in the side where they can't be yanked out. And if it's one of those that you only use once or twice a year, we have the slide covers. So the baby can't put their fingers in there and the baby can't pull it out. So, yeah. Many people think they can do this on their own.
I'm scared.
And then when they start to do it on their own, they realize they don't know what they're doing, and they end up causing more harm than good.
So how did you end up getting into this again?
Again, we were doing these inspections. People were asking for us on specifically, how do I make my home safer for a newborn, and how do I make my home safer for my elderly grandmother who can't be in the hospice home anymore because I want to be able to see her because of COVID.
Yeah.
So we ended up in one of the books we published. The first chapter is about baby proofing, and the last chapter is about aging in place. So
is that ghostwritten, or did you actually write it?
Of course, it's ghostwritten. But the first, it's actually our ebook, and you can get it off either website. You can go to BerylBabyProofing.com, or you can go to BerylEngineering.com, and you can download the Safe Home book, and that book will talk about different aspects of baby proofing. So that's how we got into it. It was just, we were doing an inspection type. It was custom. I paired up with a general contractor to be able to do the installs. So now we can offer this whole house solution so your soft and squishy baby can become a angsty teen and can become a supportive adult. So when you are elderly, your angsty teen now can be supporting you.
So this is also like an inspection. You do not just baby proofing, but inspections for like older people that might have dementia or whatever living on their own.
We
that's
do.
Nice.
We do. And then we use our design team if we have to redo a bathroom. We can do the design through our design team. But right now we're just focusing on the baby proofing aspect. Again, if you have an infant, right around between 6 months and 12 months is when you want to have your baby proofing means installed. You want to have your gates installed. Now people buy a $10 gate off Amazon that's just pressure mounted. That's bad. Baby will topple that over. These have to be mounted with screws into the walls. Simple
Man,
things.
strong babies.
Yeah.
That doesn't take much. It's all physics.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like my kids lived through Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom now or something after hearing.
I was thinking the
Because
same
I
thing,
didn't
like,
have
we never
any of
really
this.
baby-proof your home. Yeah.
I should have.
Yeah, but I mean, here's a good example. So we're growing up. The TV weighs 150 pounds and sits on a counter. Now the TV
good
weighs
point.
15 pounds and can easily be toppled
all-
over. So we need to anchor that to
That's
the
a good
wall.
point.
Right.
Again, growing up, we didn't know what electricity was. Now there's plugs everywhere. There's multiple. So it's just
We
that
didn't know about
homes
electricity.
have become more dangerous, and parents now we're growing up. One of our parents is a primary caregiver. Now the TV is a primary caregiver. The TV that's going to crush the baby. So it's just it's a
You think
different world
15
we live
pounds
in.
could crush a baby?
Oh, easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, easily.
When you add a little fall and a little
Yeah.
acceleration.
And if you have
into
tile,
that.
we have all tile floors at my house. So.
Oh, yeah.
So let's talk about your short list of key danger spots, and then someone can get your e-report. But where's the short list of danger spots?
Stairs is going to be the biggest. Cabinets, I mean, they're crawling through the kitchen. You keep all your cleaning supplies under the kitchen. Most people are putting their Windex next to their bleach because we put all our cleaning supplies together, and everyone knows you don't spray ammonia and bleach together, but you store them together. That's just as stupid.
So you have a separate cabinet for your ammonia?
Bleach?
We have 3 separate areas for cleaning supplies in my house.
I need to walk through your house and just
I
see
know.
how it's set up
Yeah,
one day, so
I
I
agree.
know how not to kill myself.
Okay, the other things, ovens and stoves, you need latches. Another big thing is like babies love to throw stuff in a toilet and flush. So you want to have special lids that have like latches on them to keep babies out of things. Latches on your cabinets, latches on your toilets, latches on doors to keep them out of your entertainment
Wouldn't it
rooms.
be easier to just put like the door thing so they can't get into the rooms, keep them closed, and then
That doesn't. Okay, so babies are curious by nature, and babies will figure these things out like puzzles. So if you put the door stop knobber thing on, they're gonna figure it out. And their hands are small enough to get in the little holes and turn the knob. But if you have a latch that's up near the top of the door, they can't get to that. So you have two different.
My
two
wife
different
probably
elements.
couldn't get to that, though. She's like 5 feet
Well,
tall.
I can tell you, I remember like traveling with my kids when we were younger, and now hotels have it, those top latches. But I remember traveling, and they didn't really have that, and it would freak me out. They didn't have that top latch. I'm like, what happens if the baby wakes up in the middle of the night?
I thought that
That's
was
what
to
we're
keep
saying.
people. I thought that was to keep people out. Is that supposed to keep
Keep babies
babies in?
in.
Yeah.
Oh wow! Look, whew, learn something new.
You know what I think is funny is the person that knows everything about how to prepare for a baby has no children.
I know. There's something I should know.
And since we're in Florida, how about pools, swimming pools?
Pools, yes, that's another aspect. We actually don't do this to ourselves, but we do the inspection. We sub out that work. But yeah, pool enclosures. You need to have safety barriers. There need to be certain ways. Even the Florida Building Code. Here's where I do appreciate good legislative measures. There are like 6 different ways to keep your pool safe, and it used to be you have to have 2 of them. Now you need 3, especially when one of the 6 is an alarm. I mean,
Right.
okay, you have an alarm, so alarm trips because mother's not paying attention and dad's on a Zoom meeting. Baby's out near the pool. You need more safety mechanisms. In
Yeah, we
place.
went gate because or the fence instead because of that.
Yeah, that's important. And that.
What are
that's
other
different.
safety things for the pool? So you got the alarm. You have like the
fence.
The
that goes
fence,
around the pool.
You have a distance factor involved.
Okay.
Mostly it's the alarm, the fence, the distance. Oh, looks like we're coming up to a break.
We are.
Yeah,
Lifeguard.
a lifeguard. Yes. It's just paying attention to your
But
baby.
teach your kids to swim. We live in Florida. There
Yeah.
should be
Sure.
no reason why you don't teach
Yeah.
your kids to swim. My son was literally swimming at probably about 2 months old.
Yeah. I
He was starting to swim.
You do
I think I
And
take it
then-
for granted because I'm born
Yeah.
here, right?
Well,
So
the
I
next
just assume
year,
everybody
I'll
knows how
never
to swim.
forget the next year we were at a venture, you know, they have those big cliffs
Yeah,
to jump
yeah,
off.
yeah.
My son was about a year and a half old, and I finally had to leave because it was so much stress because he could swim. So we let him jump off the cliffs, and he was swimming. But they're not used to little kids like a year and a half swimming, and it would freak him out. And the lifeguards would be like chucking across the park, and I'd be like, "Oh, he can swim! Stop!"
Well, they did studies
Yeah.
recently where infants can swim.
Yes.
And we can talk about that when we come back from the break, how they
Yeah.
actually prove that infants can swim.
Oh, they can. My son was 2 months old, and he learned to
They
swim.
show them how to do their little foot and flip
Yeah.
over. Yep.
We'll be back in a minute.
This is Tampa Home Talk, joined by this is Adam Talley with Tampa Home Talk, joined by joined by myself and Katrina Madewell, and Leo Kane, and Aaron Donovan, and our other friend attorney who I did not remember his name.
Hi, friend attorney.
Hi.
David Green with Woods Trail
Great
Law.
to be here.
Hey, his shirt matches his cup, which is very impressive.
He's like he's the making the builders do the right thing.
Yeah, but
Yes.
his mask doesn't match his shirt, doesn't match
It
his
does
cup.
not. It does
Doesn't.
not.
I was trying to go for my friend
The
Aaron.
blue?
here.
Gotcha.
Support
But because he's
Kentucky.
wearing his headphones, one behind the ear, his ear matches his shirt, matches his
Yes,
cup.
yes.
So
They're all
it's
coordinated.
still February, and February is
goodness.
quickly coming to an end. It's the shortest month, as you know, of the year. And so my goal was always to get 50 reviews on Amazon within, the first 50 days. We talked about that.
Well, I just bought it on the Amazons,
Thank you.
so I will review it.
So selling through relationships, why cold calling sucks and relationships win. It's on Amazon. It's also available on Kindle, not yet available on Audible.
I want it on Audible.
Is that just
Can I
because it's
read
not
for it? I'd
available?
love to read
Yeah, I
for
want to
it.
read a chapter.
Sure.
You could have a guest reader, a couple
have-
guest readers.
Yes, I think that'd be
Do you have a
very
chapter on
exciting.
baby proofing? I'd love to read that one.
No, not in that particular book.
You got to start them off young. Selling through relationships, start them young, teach them the value of networking when they're an infant and a toddler,
Just like the swimming.
Yeah.
just like swimming.
So the general reviews that we're getting on the book is pretty much, it's an easy read. Once you start going, it's kind of quick, so it moves along fast.
Especially if you're Leo.
And what kind of, where can people leave you a review? Can they leave it for you on Kindle
I would
or
prefer if
Amazon?
you leave it on Amazon because they're like the powerhouse, right? So that's what's going to give me the most help. They do see the verified purchase, so we had a lot of people come to the book launch and bought a copy there, but really your purchase on Amazon helps me a lot more. Again, if you don't like it, you let me know directly. I will give you your money back. So far, I've got all 5 stars. I'm expecting some will come
I'm going
less.
to leave a 4.5 star.
Okay, that's fine.
Just
I
be
would,
that one
I would
little-
expect nothing less from you. It's totally fine.
Oh my gosh.
Here's your 4.75. I liked the book. However, the back cover page was not as slick as I would have appreciated
Yeah,
it
could
to
totally
be.
see that. Yeah, that's the review.
You're a food critic.
What are some of the key points that the reader can gather from your book to apply to their everyday business?
David was kind of asking this question as well. Like, what did you say? Is it a real?
I said selling through relationships. So there's a new house and a new spouse at the same time.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Selling through relationships.
We got a new spouse for your new house. No, like the point is, I've been in the business for 30 years, and so every year we look at our business and where it came from, and pretty consistently, it may go up or down by a few percentage points, but around 92% every single year of all of our business comes to us either referred or repeat business by past clients. So it's a really high percentage. A lot of people think, because I've done radio for so long, that's a really big number that comes from radio, and it's not. The truth is we do get some business from radio. It's a much smaller number. People that listen to talk radio like to listen for information. They're not always interactive. I mean, they may listen for a long time, but they don't want to call in, that sort of stuff. And so we do get some business from it, and we get very loyal people. So what I find is when I meet people for a real estate transaction after they've listened to us on Tampa Home Talk, they feel like they know me, right? Because I show up and I'm me. If you were to hang out with me outside of the air, am I any other way? I'm pretty much the same way.
She's the same.
So that's the point, is like be really transparent. And in the book, I talk about how, so much of my business is referred and past clients, and why it's that way, and why is that a better way to do business as opposed to door knocking, cold calling, or like other ways. Like, how do you guys get your business? Do you measure that to see like where it comes from?
Mine's very relational as well. If I'm being honest, we do a great marketing campaign. Dave Murray, who heads up that aspect of our business, and our vice president, Jeff Valdez, they do a great job with our
So
marketing.
give me an example of one of those pieces of marketing. What is that?
Well, website. So
Okay.
obviously that, but the relational part is huge. Like, I've gotten referrals from past clients,
Yes.
public adjusters. Dave and I've referred each other cases. So it's a big relational business with what we do as well.
And even between our councils, too, I mean, the best referrals I get are from attorneys on the other side of the table who are defending construction companies, saying, hey, I got an aunt, I got a cousin, I got a friend who's...
So they have that problem
Yeah,
personally, and they're
who
like,
say-
you were good.
Yeah, they say, we can't do it because we're on the defense side, but you represent owners, I know you're good,
Right.
you go help them out.
Please help them, right?
Right. And I've gotten a couple referrals from insurance defense attorneys as well. Their neighbor had a problem, or
Right.
something like that. So
there is a real estate spin on it, of course, as you might imagine. And so that was some of the feedback that I got as well. And you got to keep in mind, I didn't sit down and just write this book and then boom, publish. I did it over a period of over a year, little bit at a time, chapter at a time, went back and reread. And it's my first time writing a book. So first time being an author. I can sell real estate. I can rip that if you give me a real estate contract or a mortgage contract and put me in the room with any real estate attorney, I will probably know more about it than they will.
oh yeah, you've been doing it
Because
a long
I
time.
know every provision
Yeah.
of that. I've read it a million
But you
times
have
over.
to flail your arms in the air and go, not a lawyer.
I am definitely not a lawyer.
Right.
But I will
Right.
have a fun conversation with
Not
any
a trade
attorney
spokesperson.
about that, right? And tell them why it means this, because I've seen a lot of stuff. So some of the feedback I've gotten is you kind of chug along, right? Because I wanted it to be a general business book that anybody could read, not just for real estate agents. So I don't know what chapter it is. I'd have to go back and reread it specifically looking for this. But basically,
probably does.
You might. So I talk about it like, in a general business perspective, and then I kind of flip to like a real estate perspective.
Chapter
So
4.
Was it 4?
Nice.
Okay.
Good memory.
So yeah, so if I go do a revision on the book ever, I will probably just tweak that. and fix
Well,
it.
and now that you know how to do it, are there plans for a second book at all?
Oh, yeah, she mentioned during
Yeah.
her book.
It's going to take me a long time to read the first one. It doesn't have as many pictures as my
But no,
normal
she's
books,
got her.
so.
You have your next book. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago.
I have an idea actually for 2 more books.
Ooh,
One of them
series.
is going to take a while, and I don't want to talk about that one yet. And the other one is it's sort of a series, but not really. The second book I plan to write about is a book on money.
Ooh.
Nice.
And so it's just because I think, like in general, when you look at the world and you look at the U.S. and you look at how many trillions with a T dollars are floating around in debt, and our politicians think that's okay, it's really not. And
We
so
can just print more. That's
Yeah.
not
Yeah,
wrong.
yeah, there's a long-term problem with that, and you don't have to be an economist to know that. It's really pretty basic, ideas with money and economy. And so, my goal is just to write a book on money that hopefully people can, change their thought process and their relationship with money.
Well, hey, at least
Very
we live in a state
interesting.
with a balanced budget. I hate
Yes.
to live in
True.
Illinois right now, or some
Yeah.
of these other states.
Oh, I'm from Kentucky,
do.
so that's
California
another
is
story.
Yeah.
Upside down.
So selling through relationships, why cold calling sucks and relationships win. It's available on Amazon. It's available on Kindle, not yet on
And
Audible.
order it
Mine
and
is
then review it.
Mine is coming on the 22nd or the 23rd.
Please order, review.
Yeah, mine will be here on the 26th.
Now,
Great
you were at
read
my
so
book
far.
launch. Didn't you pick up
Yeah,
a book
I did,
then?
but you told me to
not?
order it.
I know, but did you read it?
I flipped through a little bit of
Wait,
it.
did you opt
through
instead
it.
of
Again,
doing
there
mine,
wasn't
did
enough
you opt for the
pictures,
extra
so
money?
what's the guy supposed to do?
Yeah, I mean, my typical book pops up a little bit, I mean.
Okay, now you leave your dirty magazines out of this.
All right, David, Aaron, thanks for joining us. Thanks for
Thank
coming back.
you.
You guys have a problem with your builder or your insurance company, we got your hookup. Call or text us to 813-377-2775. Again, 813-377-2775. Love where you live or we'll fix it. Welcome home.
Love.